Hi, Cathy. Thank you so much for coming to our show. I really, really appreciate it. I know you have a busy schedule, but taking the time off for our audience, I really, really appreciate it. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're most welcome. And so you have a interesting theory, which was I wanted to do the podcast with you. So you've been into laughing yoga. So that's kind of like a different thing. There is a different kind of yoga in there. But when it comes to like a laughing yoga, I want to know more about what is, and this is going to be our topic of the show. But before I get into it, I want to know more about you. Our audience would love to know more about you, how you get into this, how are you helping others, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wonderful, thank you. So yeah, I've actually have a worm composting business. My mission is to put worms in every living space.
Right.
Right. I'm laughing because it's like, when I started my worm business in 2002.
Yeah.
And really my goal is for everybody to have a little container of worms so they can manage their food scraps from the kitchen, their paper waste, their confidential documents, shred them up, feed them to the worms. Nobody's taking your identity now. Mm-hmm. And then the worms convert that material into beautiful black gold so we can grow more nutrient rich food.
Right.
That business alone has so many implications, like such great value for the planet. Yeah. It's waste management, soil production, and food security, all in a little worm. The challenge is the worms and that they're in the house.
Yeah.
I have a psychology degree, and I'm meeting people who were traumatized maybe as children in the schoolyard or by a sibling after a rainy day. They were chased around by a little worm, and so they got traumatized. When we get traumatized as children, we carry that with us.
Yeah.
We don't know, it's just there, it's with us. And we just have this unknown fear of whatever it is. So I'm meeting all those people. If you're afraid of something, there's no way you want to have that in your house. You're like, oh no, like you're not even consciously thinking about it. So maybe 10 years in, I was kind of getting discouraged. I have a ton of energy, so it took a long time for me to get the message.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, gosh, this is really hard. People don't want to have worms in the house. How do I fix this? And I was introduced to laughter yoga. I don't even do regular yoga.
Right.
So laughter yoga is not about fancy pants or poses. It's intentional laughter exercises, deciding to laugh. Right? Ever heard laughter's the best medicine?
Yeah.
Right? We have. Everyone's heard that. And it's true. So laughter yoga. So I was introduced. I loved it. And it was my regular date night with my mother-in-law. And we would go for dinner, and then we would go to laughter yoga. So fun. What a fun night. And then it was in a very busy part of Toronto where there was lots of condos.
Yeah.
And the person running the club had to close the club. There wasn't enough interest, and she was paying for space. And so I was like, wow, look at all these condos around, tens of thousands of people live at that corner. It's really, really chock-a-block corner, lots of people. So I said, they don't know that this fun thing is right here. Anyway, I decided to get trained as a laughter leader. Loved that so much. I became trained as a teacher, and now I teach leaders. Yeah. So I teach people to lead the laughter. And I have to let you know that laughter yoga has saved my worm business, because it helped me to stay in that business, just to become more resilient. I know it's not personal why people don't want worms in the house. Yeah. We don't buy what we need necessarily. We buy what we want.
Yeah,
and people
definitely.
And people don't want worms.
Yeah, this is the last thing you need.
Right?
Yeah.
So back to the worm. So, early on, I decided, oh my gosh, okay, so people are afraid of worms. How am I going to do this? So I decided to take on school workshops. So I've done, over 75,000 students have seen my presentation. It's super fun. It's high energy, it's different during this COVID time, going into classrooms, right? Of course. but it was so beautiful. Like, just not only would I come in with my passion and share the story about how the worms are going to help us, the teachers would, purchase a worm bin, and then the students set up the bedding. So it's
Yeah.
hands-on, it's interactive, super. Who doesn't want to get their hands in there, mixing up the bedding for the worms? The grand finale of my workshop is holding worms.
Right.
Now, some of the children are afraid.
Yeah.
And that's my role. My goal is to help them overcome that fear that,
Mhm.
okay. And there's so many lessons in the worms, of course, fear is just the unknown.
Yeah.
Like, right. If you're afraid, I say to the students, if you're afraid of the dark, it's not, so it's when the lights go out, it's like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. That's why I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Same with the worms. People are like, oh, are they going to get out? Is it going to smell? All these questions. So easier for us not to do something than to take it on and experience it.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's just easier to say, no, I'm not going to do that, instead of,
Yeah.
hey, let me try it and see.
Yeah. Trying different things, isn't it?
Exactly.
So how long are you doing like your coaching work?
So yes, I started my worm business in 2002.
Right, it's a long time,
A
nearly 20 years.
long time. And when I started doing school workshops, I said, okay, good. Now I just have to wait for the students, for 20 years for them to have buying power.
Yeah.
19 years, I'm almost there.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. I have to say, I have this business that is so rewarding because I know I'm doing good work.
Yeah.
I'm helping the planet. I'm helping other people understand why we need to do what I'm doing.
Right.
And it's so beautiful. I'm meeting students now that, maybe I went to their grade 3 class and they said, oh yeah. And then I was doing a lot of exhibiting at, home shows or farmers markets all over the place. I would have a table.
Yeah.
And I'm meeting those students now, they've graduated from university, and some have reported that they went into environmental studies because of me. Wow.
Yeah.
Like from grade 3, it's just, wow. It's, that's what keeps me going in the worm business, is when I meet people and they're like, you changed my life. And we're like, wow, because we don't know. And you're a coach, so you don't know. We really don't know when we're talking to people. We don't know what they're hearing, and we don't know what messages they're taking away and how we're affecting people. We really don't. So, my message for people is just always be with integrity, like just always be there to serve. And we don't always get the rewards right away. We don't always know, that we've helped somebody.
Yeah, that's really great. And I can relate to that because I've been in a primary school teacher about 7 months after I got my graduation. So I decided to be a teacher. So I worked with little children, year 2, year 3, did about year 4 as well. So it's a great feeling, rather than you teaching them, they can remember you and everything. Oh, this is Mr. Chowdhury, or this is Miss Katie. So, the feelings is there. Like, even though you grow old, even though they go older, still they call you and they remember you. It's an amazing feeling. Yeah, I totally agree with it. Like, giving them positive vibe, positive energy to them, it really helps. And the warmness you get in return in future, which is like a priceless. So
we all know that we've had teachers,
yeah,
like there's good teachers and bad teachers.
yeah,
And I believe we're all teachers, and
yeah,
it's our role. I believe that it's our role to serve the younger people and mentor them and show them that, show them the way. Especially today, it's really topsy-turvy. The world is upside down at the moment.
yeah,
And I think for young people, it must be a little bit scary. Like, what is my future? What is coming? And we need to hold the space for them so they can have the hope, because without hope, we're hopeless. Not
yeah,
funny, but
yeah,
we're hopeless without hope, which means we're sad, we're depressed, and we go downstairs instead of looking up and seeing, it's so beautiful. There's so many opportunities, so much potential. But if we're looking down, we can't see it.
yeah. So true. Yeah. So we get to the today's topic. So what is laughter yoga or laughing yoga?
Thank you. Yes. So laughter yoga is it's a cardiovascular workout.
Yeah.
Laughter it was designed or created by a medical doctor in India, Dr. Madan Kataria, and his goal is world peace through laughing.
Yeah.
It's a global movement. There are laughter clubs around the world. I'm in North America and we're late adopters here.
Yeah.
Yoga's just arriving. So it's not as big in North America yet. It's only 26 years old, but it's coming. And it really is the fastest happiness hack. It's a way for us to connect, to feel good instantly. Like as soon as we smile, we send a note to our brain that, hey, I must be happy because I'm smiling.
Right.
So our brain is the thinker.
Yeah.
And that's where all those thoughts come, that voice in your head that says, oh, this is weird. I feel weird. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
That, our ego is just there to keep us safe, not really to help us grow.
Yeah.
We got to get past that discomfort so then we can experience the magic. And our body is the feeler. So when people go to a laughter club for the first time, it may be, it could be like, oh, what's happening here? What do you want me to laugh? Because there's no jokes, no comedy.
Yeah.
There's little games to inspire the laughter, clapping and chanting and whatever, just being kids, really just to inspire that childlike sense of play and wonder.
It's like without any joke or anything. It's like how kids laugh for no reason. Is this something like that, right?
Absolutely. Kids don't need priming. You can say, again, with the school, as a teacher, like you could just say to kids something funny or not even a joke, but just a funny thing. And everyone's laughing. So fun.
Yeah.
And we look at kids sometimes like, oh, what are those kids doing? What are they up to? Oh, they're just laughing. Really, they're not up to anything.
Yeah.
Join in.
Yeah.
So because it's a cardiovascular workout, there is warm-ups, and we do encourage people not to hurt themselves. But you do want, we've all laughed so hard that our stomach hurts and our cheeks are hurting. We're like, oh my gosh, stop laughing.
Yeah.
I hope people remember that. And that's what being in a laughter club is about. Building those laughter muscles. It's just muscles. We don't really need to go to a gym. We can save our money. And although there is, the social part of going to the gym.
Yeah.
So, that's the piece in the laughter club is we have the connection, and it's really, really deep. Like the benefits for laughter to our body. We can live without food and water for a few days. We may be grumpy and uncomfortable. We could do it. We can only live without oxygen for a few minutes. Laughter forces us, right?
And we don't think about that.
We don't think about it. Oxygen is our life. If we're not breathing, well, sorry, folks, we're dead. Right? So when we're laughing, we're forced to breathe in. We can't just ha 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 ha. We have to breathe in. So it's beautiful. Our brain requires 25% more oxygen than the rest of our body as an operating principle. It's the answering machine. So when we're stressed, we're not breathing properly. We're breathing shallow. So our body's not getting what it needs. For sure, our brain isn't. And I have a great demonstration. Ever lost your keys, phone, glasses, and you're flopping around? You're like, I gotta go. Come on, where are my keys? Yeah. Right. You're not breathing because you're stressed. You're like, whatever the consequences of your being late for whatever it is you're going to are going through your mind. You're like, come on. So I can't prevent people from losing things, but what I can do is give you a gift. Next time you're flopping around, because we will lose things, we do, misplace things. Stop, take a nice deep breath in, laugh it off, ha ha ha, apologize to everybody. And then your keys will show up, because your brain is literally being deprived when you're not breathing properly.
Yeah, it's so true. I can relate you to another thing, which is driving in a, let's say, motorway, we call it, which is a highway. So in you in a 5-6 lane, and you're supposed to take an exit, but somehow you missed it, and you're panicking. Oh, what's going on? Because of the panicking, a lot of people come across with the accident. or sometimes it's like I get worried and then I'm driving right. So it works in a similar situation, isn't it?
Absolutely. Any time that you're in a situation, even doing like a chore, anything you're doing something that you're like, I don't really like doing this thing. Dishes. I don't like doing dishes, say.
Yeah.
If you add laughter, oh my gosh, now it's something, oh, I can't wait to do dishes because I feel so good after doing the dishes. Or driving is a beautiful thing. I have trained myself now that if somebody cuts me off, it's not personal. We take it personal. We're like, hey, why'd you cut me off? Right? It's not personal. What I do if somebody cuts me off, as soon as they cut me, I'm like, oh, that triggers me to do my laughter yoga. I'm like, oh, time to do laughter yoga. And I flail my arms like I'm mad, but I'm not. I'm laughing. So the person that cut me off, they're looking at me in their rearview mirror. They're like, whoa, oh, what's happening to her? They think I'm mad, but I'm laughing. Ha, 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 ha. I arrive at my destination. Oh, oxygenated, all the love drugs have been secreted, and they arrive, maybe they give me more space because they think something's happening with me. I'm going to chase them. No, I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, you're staying calm and just working on yourself rather than whatever happened.
Yeah, so I did just mention the love drugs. So when we are stressed, again, we're not breathing properly, we're secreting cortisol.
Yeah.
Cortisol, we need a little bit of cortisol to get us going, to get us off our butts, a little bit of fire. Too much cortisol creating through our bodies, like during a pandemic where people are losing their jobs, how am I going to feed my family? All of these stressors stop us from breathing in this cortisol. When we laugh, we're secreting, like I say, laughter is the best medicine. Have you had your daily dose? Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, the love drugs. Wow. We are in charge of our own pharma.
Yeah.
We can be stressed or we can be laughing and secreting. So as soon as we smile, pew, 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 a little bit of dopamine and serotonin, all those love drugs. When we add a giggle, ha, 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 a little bit more, pew, 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 more, pew, 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 ha, 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 pew, pew, pew.
The more we do, the more it comes, right?
The more we do it, the more we secrete. And I kind of wonder if I can wear out my love drugs. Like, do they ever run out? Not yet. So it really is deciding to laugh, deciding that we want to do this. And 10 to 15 minutes of sustained belly laughter is equivalent to about 300 sit-ups. Wow. 30 minutes on a rowing machine. Wow. Again, like super fun.
Yeah.
And we connect. So we encourage, when we're like, an ideally laughter club is in person.
Yeah.
Not, it wasn't really possible so much during this cuckoo time. So like everybody, we've adapted to Zoom.
Yeah.
And we were wondering, as laughter yogis, is this going to work online? Like, it seems like we don't have the energy and, but it works beautifully because, if everybody has gallery view, you can see everybody and you're playing, there's little games. So we've adapted some exercises to Zoom, where you can do high five using your camera, you can clean your camera. Like, there's things that you can do using the Zoom room, and it just, and you can look around and see everybody. It is contagious.
So it's working well, right?
Oh, it's working really well. And people can laugh almost 24/7 with people around the world. Everybody, many people are offering free clubs online.
Yeah.
So you can tune in. And I think that's the nice part about being online. It makes it much more accessible to people who maybe they didn't have access before. Maybe they have mobility issues, or they don't have a car.
Yeah.
They don't have, or they didn't have, maybe they were afraid even to attend in person, because then you're there and it's like, oh, what if I don't like it when I get there? What do I do? In the Zoom room, you can always just like tune out. You just like sign off.
Yeah.
And I do encourage people to have their camera on. However, one day a woman arrived. I didn't know it was a woman because she had her camera off.
Right.
I said, oh, if you'd like to turn your camera on, we would love to see you. And at the end, I don't anymore. I have such a big club now. I don't have time for everybody to chime in and say how they like it. I used to ask people, hey, how did you like it? Any comments? This person that had the camera off, she turned on her mic and she said, that had been a couple of years since she had laughed, and that she really enjoyed it. And so I said, okay, beautiful. If somebody is in a depression and they just want to come in and experience, but they don't look like, they look sad, or they don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
I invite people, just please come and have your camera off, no problem, no pressure, and just come and experience the energy. The energy does translate.
Yeah. So how many people in your club right now?
It varies because it's a free club, and I don't track anybody. They can just come.
On average, how many people show up?
I get about 20 people arriving, and from around the world. It's so exciting seeing people from.
Do you do daily or weekly?
It's weekly, every Tuesday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern.
All right. Okay.
Early afternoon for you, I believe. Around now.
That's great. So in terms of like laughing yoga, so how often do people need to do? Is it daily, or is it like hourly, or like how does it work? Or is it like every time you still like upset, or like you mentioned about going through driving, someone cut you off, and then that time you using your laughing yoga?
It's an exercise program. So I now, for about 5 years now, have added laughter to my daily life. Yeah. Either I'm in a club or I just laugh on my own. Now that I'm trained to do that, and now I know the benefits.
Yeah.
Once I really decided that I was going to take this on and do it properly, I have become much more resilient. When I start to get stressed, like, things still happen, of course, it's life, right? It's not like I'm got this shield around me now. My life is still going on.
Yeah.
This laughter really does help to cope with the situation. Laughter yoga is not laughing at a situation. We're laughing because of. And I'll take the pandemic, right? We've got this global thing going on. We don't know. We're open, we're closed. Business is open, we're closed. Schools are open, they're closed in different places. Vaccines, another booster, what is happening, passports. This is stressful time.
Yeah. So
laughter yoga, we're not laughing at the situation, we're laughing because of. Laughing helps us so we're laughing, ha, 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 ha. It's high vibration energy. It oxygenates our beautiful vessel. So then we can come up with solution. Versus if we weren't laughing, if we weren't doing some kind of technique to help us stay resilient, we may be crying in the corner. We might be like, this is like so anxious and depressed, seeing our friends lose their jobs, people losing their lives. I mean, we can't go to funerals. Like, it's just like, it's really a horrible time. Yeah, and there's a documentary called Laughology by Albert Nuremberg. And it was filmed. He was going to India to interview Madan Kataria, the good doctor. And he arrived in Mumbai the day after the Mumbai bombings. Wow. So he said, okay, I guess we're not going to be filming this today. It's not really the right time. And Dr. Kataria said, we must do this because of the bombings, because everyone's afraid right now. So we need to gather everyone together. We need to laugh so that we can come together and have solutions, so we can support each other. And and they did. If you watch that movie, it's online, Laughology, you'll see that part about the Mumbai bombings, and it's just like, wow, yikes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So in terms of like, if anyone wants to get started on laughing yoga, so how they get started? Do they have to join your group or they can do themselves?
You can do it yourself, but it's challenging. Even as a natural laugher, before I really decided to laugh every day,
Yeah.
it's a challenge to laugh. Haha, you're laughing by yourself, and it doesn't matter if it's real or imagined laughter. You don't have to be laughing at something. You can just so in a laugh. So I would say just attend a laughter club. Come to mine or come to any.
Yeah.
Just like any teacher. As a laughter yoga teacher, I bring different modalities. I incorporate brain gym, tapping, emotional freedom technique, and different energy modalities. I say laughter goes with everything.
Yeah.
So while we're tapping, we can be smiling, breathing deep. It's deep diaphragmatic breathing. And there's a mantra. So you clap palm to palm. So you're activating the meridians. And it's ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. It's the mantra, which helps adults. Children don't need priming.
Yeah.
They don't need priming to laugh, right? They're like, okay, we're going to have fun. Yay, woo! And they have fun.
Yeah.
Adults are like, oh, what is this? What are we doing? Okay, we're going to clap. And so the clapping brings them out of their head into their body. Now they can focus on clapping and not be like, oh, I'm just laughing for nothing. This is weird. So there's little games. And to get started, decide. When new people come to my club, I say, if this is your first time, welcome, for sure.
Yeah.
and allow yourself permission to play full on, to really get the benefits. I've done speaking in person where, with hundreds of people. And then, with this one time, a woman came up to me at the end and she said, my husband hates these interactive things, but he didn't know who the speaker was.
Right.
And so all was fine. So he came. And at one point I said, okay, everyone stand up, we're going to do some exercises. And she said he was like scowling at her like, rah, which made her laugh more. And I said, oh, I wish I saw him in the audience. Because I just think it's really interesting when we resist so strongly, like how much energy does it take to be like, nope, I'm not playing.
Yeah. You rather go with it. It's easier, isn't it?
Yeah, just go along and really deciding, and then come back to the club. Like the first time might be weird.
Yeah.
I say to people, notice how you feel. If you played full on, notice like you're gonna notice how you feel for the rest of the day, because your body has just been fully oxygenated. Like you're like, woo. And my Tuesday club, when I do morning sessions, they're high energy because I want people to be set up for the day. Like now they're like, whoa, I'm ready to go and tackle my chores. Yay.
Yeah.
Right. If I do evening ones, I offer wonderful techniques on how to sleep better, how to get out of stress, like quick instant hacks so people can come back into their body. Things happen, right? We get it.
Yeah.
We get sideswiped. And during this cuckoo time, I know even people that have like all these tools on how to get out of stress, we still get into stress where it's like, oh, what's happening? Like, we don't know. So it's the unknown that causes the problem, because we don't know.
Yeah, when everything gonna be sorted and everything. Yeah.
So I would just encourage people to jump in. It's the fastest way that we can feel better. Like just laugh. When we laugh, we change. When we change, the people around us change, because it's energy. It's just vibration.
Yeah.
When we're sad, we're not taking up much space. We're closed, we're looking down maybe. When we're happy, we're looking up, we're looking around, we're taking up more space, which is what I encourage people. Just take up lots of space, because it's your right. It's our right to be big. We didn't come here to play small. But when we're sad, we can't think of anything other than ourselves. When we're looking out, we can look over there and say, oh, look, that person over there needs my help. I better go help them. When we're looking down, we can't see that person that needs our help.
Yeah.
We really need to come together as a people. And I think laughter is a wonderful connector. It's a universal language. No words are required. You could come to the club and not speak the language and just follow along, and you're going to get the beautiful benefits.
Yeah,
I would love
interesting.
to just, I don't know how much time we have, but I wanted to just talk about some of the wonderful things that I've been doing with laughter. Of course, my laughter club. I'm working with a group, with a special needs group every Friday. It's our 5th month. And it's so beautiful. So we meet for an hour. We do these laughter
Are you doing it
activities.
through Zoom or are you doing it physically?
It was through Zoom.
Yeah,
And then when the rules allowed,
yeah,
we've been meeting in person. So we meet outside at a park,
yeah,
and it's so we're outside, nobody's masked, and it's and we're out in the air, the sun, the vitamin D and stuff. It's
yeah,
so beautiful. The parents have reported that so these are young adults, mostly 20 and over, with
right.
different developmental disabilities.
Yeah,
And the parents have reported that, so it's on Friday, so then they go home and, that they have, their children are more, they're young adults, they are their children, but yeah, that they're just more easygoing, they're not as anxious. There's
yeah,
just been some wonderful reports from the parents and the children, the young adults that are playing there. Every week they seem to play more, and I'm offering them, hey, what games would you like to play? Do you have a favorite song that we can do? And I mean, what a favorite activity is animals. And then, they
yeah,
say, okay, lion. Okay, how would we do lion? And then they
yeah,
demonstrate and we all do it. And it's just, they get the spotlight for a moment, and it's so beautiful.
yeah, that's
Um,
great.
yeah, before COVID, I was going into long-term care. Again, similar, just less energy.
Yeah,
And so, again, you don't need to have jokes or comedy. It's just hearing the laughter and then laughing together. It's like music. It reminds us, oh, I remember that song. I remember that feeling.
yeah,
So we've had some wonderful results in long-term care. And again, I'm still doing that on Zoom now. I would say it's a little bit more challenging on Zoom with that demographic.
yeah,
Than in person is much better, because you can actually touch people, touch their arm, and which then, as connects people. As soon as you
yeah,
touch somebody, you're connected, of course.
yeah, it works better. Yeah,
And then the last, no, not last, but there's so many areas. I'm doing a lot of work with students because they're really stressed at this time. Like, what's the future hold? And corporate. So team building. Imagine going into corporate, team building, productivity goes up, absenteeism goes down, and people just can come up with more creative solutions so they can increase the bottom line for the company. Beautiful.
yeah. I want to know more about how does it help with our mental health with this yoga?
Yeah, so, well, I talked about the oxygen going to the
Yeah,
brain. So when our brain is fully oxygenated
it's like a
and our,
most like anxiety and depression. How does it really actually work on those kind of issues?
yes, thank you. So when we're anxious or depressed, we're secreting cortisol. And when we're depressed, depressed actually is a great word because it says exactly what it is. We're depressed. So
Yeah,
we're compressed, right? We're kind of like smaller, as I mentioned, we shrink down, we're small.
yeah,
So the laughter opens us up and oxygenates our brain, and we start secreting those love drugs. When we hug, one of the activities that I do is called the giggle jiggle, just to close this down. So you just like wrap your arms around yourself. As soon as when you get a hug, you're
yeah,
secreting, I believe it's oxytocin that you secrete when you get a hug. You can secrete your own by giving yourself a hug. And it's the giggle jiggle that I actually came up with before I was introduced to laughter yoga. That's how I kind of was like, oh, wow, maybe I was destined for this.
yeah,
Because I was doing it before. I knew, as a speaker, I knew that if I was in a bad way, if I was in kind of a bad mood, I have huge energy. So if I'm in a bad mood, I have big bad energy, like it's a big gray cloud, and people can't even get close to me because it's like, oh, what's happening there?
yeah, yeah,
So I was speaking at an event, and I was like, oh, if I'm going to be at this event, I need to change my energy. Otherwise,
right,
people won't even be able to hear my message. They'll just see my big dark energy, even though they won't even understand
Yeah.
that, right? And I know that we've all experienced this, where we've walked into a room that somebody's in a bad mood, they just got bad news or something.
Yeah.
And so the energy is really like, what do they say? You can cut the energy with a knife or something.
Yeah.
Same if somebody's euphoric, right? Somebody's just got a raise or they just won the lottery or something. They're like, woo, and it's like, oh, something's happening here, right? It's the energy. So I went and I was like, okay, I got to change my energy. So I did wrap my arms and it's called the giggle jiggle, just like jiggling and giggling and ha 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 ha, oh, and you just do that until you're feeling better.
Yeah.
And you stop and you're like, nope, not enough. And you totally can't stay in that sad state. Now you've shifted. And
Right.
it's up to us. We get to decide. That's the beautiful part about this magic medicine. We get to decide, like, sometimes our feelings, our emotions are just there so that we can feel our emotions.
Yeah.
Right? And we get to decide how long we want to stay there. Sometimes we do want to feel sad. Sometimes we just had something and it's like, I just want to sit with this for a bit. Yes, I could shift out of it, but sometimes we need to sit with that
Yeah, just
situation.
letting it out from your system rather than holding to it, for it causes a bigger problem in the future.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
just stay with it and okay. But then when we're ready to let it go,
Yeah.
now we know, oh, we can just laugh. And yeah, so some of the things that I do for anxiety and depression is like rub our hands together. We're energy, right? So you rub your hands, shake them off. And, when we're stressed, blood, lymph, oxygen leaves our brain because we've gone into fight, flight, or freeze. We
Yeah.
don't need our answering machine. We just need to get out of stress.
Yeah.
So if you put your hands, our ancestors knew this. They're like, I'm overwhelmed. So you put your hand, our neurovasculars are right here. So that covers that. And you just take a couple, and you can close the loop by putting it on the back of your head, just on the front is fine. And you take a couple of nice, slow, deep breaths and release. And that just calms you right down. I would recommend people do that when they're on social media and they see a post that they're like, how could they think that? What? And they start to compose a message. Don't do this.
Yeah. Just
Right?
wait for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, just wait. And maybe you'll be like, oh, I don't need to respond to that right now or at all. Because, right, social media is all about emotion.
Yeah.
And inciting people, right? It gets people like, how could they have that how could they have that opinion? It's like, that's not your business.
Yeah, we can't control other people's opinion, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, let it go. So yeah, we are running out of time, Cathy. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge on laughter yoga. I really, really appreciate yoga, learn a lot of different things. And yeah, so if anyone wants to reach out to you or wants to join your laughter club, how they reach out to you? Do you have a social media website?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
Probably for the laughter, my laughter club would be best. It's cathysclub.com, Cathy with a C. .com. Everything's there about my laughter club on Tuesday mornings. Come and check it out if you're in the time zone that it works for you. The time zone Mamba. It's in the middle of the night for some people. And I also have a training coming up, a laughter yoga leader training in October. It's 2 Saturdays. Imagine 2 days of laughing. So you learn, the beautiful part of taking the training is you learn about the benefits of why you want to laugh every day. So you learn for yourself this healing medicine. And at the end of the 2 days, you get a certificate so you can lead laughter classes and maybe make some money, like maybe have a little business. I have so many paid gigs in laughter now because we have this mental health tsunami. We really need this, and we need more laughter leaders. There's not enough in the world right now.
Yeah, that's great. I absolutely love that. And it was a great, like we did something different in our show. Talked about laughter, laughing yoga. So it was a great experience for me and for my audience as well. So I appreciate it, Cathy, taking the time out for our audience and sharing your knowledge. So I wish you good luck with your laughing yoga, and you're probably going to inspire a lot of people and change their life. So wish you good luck with that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
You're most welcome. So that's a wrap, guys. So thank you so much for listening to us in this episode. Well, talk to you in the next episode. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Talk soon.